cylinder 1, cylinder 3, cylinder 5, cylinder 7. Boom. I'm hoping it is. So let's get these gaskets wiped off and get it back on there. Welcome to another episode of Yacht Life, and today we fixed the Jeep Commander again. Let's go. Alright, so in the previous episode, you guys saw this same Jeep Commander that I fixed. And he had some really bad luck. Some really good, but some really bad luck. He dropped the valve seat, but it didn't crush the piston. Just gave him a little love tap, you know. Just gave him a little love tap. Pistons are still fine on both sides. Cylinders are still fine. We're just doing a head gasket change. He was getting ready to had the heads redone up at Doug's. And look at this. Beautiful. This is exactly how my heads used to look. His has got nicks just like mine has got nicks. This is part of it. But he got them done. Got them done. So we're just going to put this back together. This ain't going to be a real long video. I might attach this to something else. But another thing we're going to do is test his thermostat. See if his thermostat pops open. Because he said this hose swole up and burst for some weird reason. Hey. So we're going to make sure his thermostat's still good. Let's get to it.
Drain there.
Yep. Go ahead. Alright, cut it off. That damn. The exhaust bolt. Hold on. Okay, the sound came from the EGR valve. When we put it in, he didn't tighten this down, so it was coming from the front of the engine. I thought it was the exhaust back there, but I put my hand back there and no heat came out. These two bolts here where the EGR pipe goes into the EGR valve was loose. So this is why you don't let customers work on their own car, because he thought it was okay to leave two exhaust manifold bolts off and not tighten up the EGR valve. So that is what's causing our leak. And I'm trying to tell him while the bolts are so long, and he won't listen. Because there's usually a heat shield that goes on there. Makes it long. It doesn't make it longer. It's the same size with a stud on the end. So the heat shield and the nut can fit on the stud, as we all know. Trying to tell him that, he won't listen. That's fine. No problem. So he went to the store to go get another bolt, and I can't bleed out the coolants because he won't be able to put the bolt in. Oh, we're at a standstill. Gotta again. So we cannot finish the car. We got all the way down to everything. We were just about to bleed the coolant. We started the car up. We heard that sound you guys heard. We turned it off. He had the EGR valve pipe that was loose. We tightened that up. Sound got a little quieter. So then we went down to tighten the EGR valve itself. Bolts were tight. Still had the sound, but it's really quiet, but it still has the sound. We tightened out all the exhaust manifold bolts supposedly, and it's still there. It wasn't there in the previous video. It should be there now. We don't know what it is. We spent 4.5 hours trying to chase it. We done took off the alternator to get to the EGR valve bolts. We done took off the intake. We done took off the valve cover. I mean, yeah. So we're both frustrated. We done spent too much time trying to get it done. So now we're just going to call it a day, and we're going to worry about this in a few days. And that is just how we're going to leave it, unfortunately, because we don't know, and I don't like knowing, and y'all know that. Alright, so I took the header bolts out. They're all here. Found out that the header gasket was mounted like that. On the passenger side, and y'all know that the EGR valve goes here, so there's supposed to be an extra hole there, but let alone it was flipped that way backwards and upside down on the wrong side. So we gotta put the new one on there and just bolt it back up. That's what was making the noise from up front. Like I was saying, there's a hole in the stock exhaust manifold that goes into the head, that then goes into the solenoid, which then goes into the intake. If you watch my other video, I explained why I thought that was my intake leak. Now this is the passenger side. If you look up there where the header is, you see that first hole at the bottom, and then the second hole right above it. The first hole at the bottom is just the bolt hole that attaches to the heads. That second hole goes into the exhaust manifold, and then goes to the EGR valve, and of course, right here, back up through the pipe, into the pipe, back into the intake, which is the exhaust gas for circulation. That is why his was making a noise up front, and his is operating, so it's pumping air and everything like that. I don't know if mine is operating, but nonetheless, that was the problem. Mount it like this, up against the block and the header, like that. So it just started leaking right there in that area. It started to turn black, if you can see, like right about there. Yeah, you see how it's turning black? Yeah, it was starting to soot out there. And yeah, we're just leaking. So we waited for a new one. Put the new one on. Go ahead, start it. What the fuck is that? Hold on. Alright, hold on. Just let it run. Don't press the gas. It's still leaking. driving a manual. Just like that, this episode of Yacht Life is over. Howdy. We must love doing this. We got to.
I always spend a Saturday, me and my man, on this shit.